Good morning, sim racers. I just thought I'll give this BMW M8 GTE car a run around Circuit Gilles Villenueve this morning. Beautiful Sunday morning. Got to do a run to the gym quickly, but before that let me do this. Just a quick feedback on the filter settings I'm using for this run. I've got the damping at 30, which equates to 3 in the old Simucube 1 days, the friction to 20, which is 2, and then the inertia to 50, which is 5. So that makes for a really nice and smooth, very responsive wheel. You get all the road surface details through, but you have zero oscillations as well. So together with this, I will also do this static force reduction filter at 15%, just to see how the wheel goes in and out of the turns. This means that you'll have maximum fidelity going down the straights, but as soon as you start turning, it will reduce the force by the level that is sent by this force reduction filter, in this case 15%. So if you had the wheel running at the full 30 Newton meters, you will probably reduce the force by 4.5 Newton meters in those turns, just as an example. The other hand, I also have my Simucube reconstruction filter set to 5, which I find to be a fantastic setting for the Simucube 2 combined with some of these other filters. Slew rate, for the moment, the slew rate limit I will leave off. And then there's a new filter I've been testing for Mika, which is called ultra low latency mode. I'm not going to talk much about this one, guys, other than to say, wow, it really helps to reduce latencies with this wheel even further. This allows you to run higher torques that you saw in the DW12 testing the other day, while still keeping the wheel absolutely stable even at those high torque levels. And there's no other sim wheel on the market that will run this sort of 25-30 Newton meter levels with the DW12 IndyCar and iRacing with zero oscillation. Then there are some other settings here that is direct input fine tuning, but those are not used in iRacing. Those are for some of the other arcade sims out there. Center damping is another one I'm using. I'm having 30% damping around the center of this wheel, and then the center damping angle span I set at 1 degree. So it means I'm applying 30% damping 1 degree around center of this wheel. So all these new filters are helping to really stabilize the wheel around the center position, removing that sandy feel like what you had with the older Simucubes and with the old Argon wheels. It removes that sandy feel, it allows you to have zero oscillation around the center, and then it further improves just the driving experience itself. So my most important filter, which I would love to see being ported over to Simucube 1, must then be for sure the static force reduction filter. Everything else combined, yes, they are wonderful filters on this new Simucube 2, but if there's one important filter for me that has to be ported over for the Simucube 1 guys, it is the static force reduction. As mentioned, this will allow you to actually reduce the torque coming into turns and increasing the torque going down out of the turns down the straights again by a specific percentage that you set. But this is one of the main complaints about iRacing column torque model, and I know that a lot of people have been discussing this. Some notable, really expert level guys on iRacing themselves that has access to IndyCar teams and drivers, and they have indicated, and also some other professional drivers, that the wheel is loading up going into the turns, and instead sometimes it should actually reduce the torque and not increase the torque as you start to turn. So with this setting you can keep it similar torque levels down the straights and into the turns, or you can actually reduce the torque going into the turns. This is quite seamless and bumpless, if I can call it that, guys, meaning that there is no depression that you feel as the torque unloads and reloads back onto the column. It is actually extremely smooth, so you can set it either being a linear sort of increase and decrease, or you can set it logarithmic or exponential, how this torque will come in and go out. But yeah, all in all, really nice to have these capabilities, but my pick must be for Simucube 1 guys, at least static force reduction. I hope this makes it in. So guys, okay, let's have a quick run at this. I'm doing with this Pimax headset this morning. I'm not in the mood to struggle with 2D screen around this circuit. It is not easy to drive. And even with a car I don't know that well, the BMW M8 GTE car, like you know, it doesn't have any ABS electronic assist, so you've got to be careful on how you drive it. There are many faster guys than myself in this car, so I'm not going to try and set world records here, but at least be within a second or so of the faster guys. And that will do for now. So let's give it a couple of laps and let's just see how the wheel responds and behaves, and keep an eye on this. You can also keep an eye on the force meter on the display itself. It will give you an idea of how hard I'm driving this car. Let me just get out of the way of these guys behind me. Give them right of way because they're being on odd laps. Alright, let me get in my rhythm. The Circuit Gilles Villenueve is a pretty technical track, guys. So it will take me 1 or 2 laps to just get back up to speed again. At the same time just warming the car's tires up a bit. But unfortunately I had to tap him back there, but there was just nowhere to go. But car will not be damaged, so that's good. That is one tricky hairpin at the back there. Ah, this is such a wonderful technical track, so flowing and smooth and flat turns. You really got to have some skills driving this quick. So nice and easy to counter steer. It feels natural. testing this force reduction filter on this smooth surface. Aim is really to see if there's any depressions coming off torque and back on torque, but it's absolutely smooth. I cannot feel anything. And I guess this is the aim of it, is to make it a smooth transition. It feels like in real life when you start to turn the car and you lose downforce, where it starts getting lighter. Super smooth, guys, and letting go of the wheel, no oscillations. I can actually reduce the filters quite a lot on this if you want even more road detail, but this feels like a real car. Just rubber under the car, race rubber under the car. Losing some rhythm there, thinking about other things. Okay, let's do one last lap and I'll try to make it a clean, fast one. So much for a clean fast lap. But guys, alright, just a couple of laps. Main idea is just to show how smooth the wheel is on a smooth track like this, Gilles Villeneuve. But still, it communicates really well to you. And I have to say, with this settings that I've just mentioned earlier with my damping, friction, inertia, you guys that are about to get your Simucube 2 Pro wheels and your sport wheels, I'm sure you can give those a go and you will get very similar results, because the inertias it's pretty similar between the different servos. They're not the same, but they are quite similar in many respects. So give those a go, see how you feel, and you are welcome to post feedback here as well. I'll catch you guys a bit later. I'm off on a trip to New Zealand for this week, so I will only be back on next weekend again, but I will anyway respond to comments and questions as always, and feel free to contact me via iRacing or Granite community forums. I'll be back.